Hi, this is Dr. Scott Young, and today we're going to talk about a little bit shorter one, but it's going to be, will taxes be returned? So, what we're talking about is the IRS issue. So, now if you've listened to the last one, which you do need to listen to the last one, it was a little bit longer one. We're trying to do the NESARA shorts here, but will taxes be returned? Now, if you kind of looked at this, the IRS kind of when we do have some of this circumstance that happens, the IRS will kind of die here in the little bit. And what we're going to see is at some point or another, it will kind of cut off. And it probably will turn into a sales tax collection. It will not really have any customer facing point. It will adjust to maybe working with business owners. So really won't actually affect you. So it will only really talk to business owners. Sorry, my camera moves around a little bit like that. So it's really going to be a very different circumstances. So, like for instance, the sales tax agencies, it will more operate like the sales tax agencies of the different states, which is a very different kind of way. And most of the sales tax agencies, they really don't have a lot of communication. They just have a portal that you kind of go into, and that's how it works. So now, one of the things I want you to know, and there's an informational point that happens, and most people don't realize this, but in the CARES Act in March of 2020, well, there was the CARES Act. The CARES 1 Act happened in March of 2020, and it was a 1,000-page document. The second CARES Act, which happened maybe around April of 2020, approximately, it's a 1,200-page document. No one freaking ever read the stupid thing. And I have a friend of mine who passed away, Fran, who passed away, an amazing woman. She actually worked for the IRS, and Fran read the thing, and she just picked it apart. It's an amazing person. Long story short, but basically the point is that it was set up to it was set up from a long time ago. And the reality is in there is that the documentation was meant that they took the Fed and they took the IRS and plunked them underneath the Treasury Department. And that's what most people don't realize. And the PPP loans were the catalyst. And that's what made NESARA actually real. So this is what triggered me into becoming what some people would call me a truther. Okay. This is why I do the NESARA piece. Okay. Now, one of the things that has only happened more recently, and I wish Fran was around because I would love to tell her about this one, is that only recently, maybe in 2022, that this came out. And trust me, I have looked at those. I wish I had old documentation of this, but only recently have I seen the documentation. I just had one today, and I wish I brought it home with me. Is that in recent documentation, the IRS is saying division of the Treasury. Now, some of you will argue with me. Oh, they've said division of Treasury for a long time. No, they have not. Now, officially, they have always been the division of Treasury. Bull. They have never felt that they are the division of Treasury. Now, when money comes in, yes, they send it to the Treasury just to make it official. But what they do is they just send it over there and then they send it on to the Fed. But the reality is they've only said it more recently. It's because they are underneath the Treasury, because now they're underneath them because they know they're almost dead. Now, the big question that some truthers are trying to tell you that you're going to get every dime of your taxes back. Like from 1920s on or whatever. Now, the reality is that the taxes have been taken out of people's money from 1913 on. Now, listen, the Greatest Generation really is from 1927 on. I don't know very many people that are alive from that time frame. The Greatest Generation, the oldest greatest generation is probably about 101 years old. So we don't have very many of those people around here, but neither here nor there. Traditional generation, my father-in-law is 89 years old, so he would be a Korean War veteran. But the reality is, um, if you were to give out to the traditional generation or the baby boomer generation and beyond, and the X and the Y and the Z generation out to those groups of people, dozens and dozens of years of income tax that would average 4 to 25,000 or more per year in taxes over dozens of years. You're talking about 150 to millions of dollars per person, which would flood the market in taxes or in gold backed currency. And if you flooded the market in that, you would create so much money in gold backed currency that you would turn off the system. What you would do is you would raise everyone, you would flood the boat, and no one would have enough money. I mean, basically what would happen is all the prices would float up to the exact same amount. So gold would have no meaning at that point. Guys, there is no way that money is going to float like that. If everyone has that kind of money, what you have is a price inflation. In every land where we have money that comes up, you start having a hyperinflation. And if you would do that with a gold backed currency, you would have a massive problem. And do not believe in people who tell you that you will have a gold backed hyperinflation point, that everyone's just going to get money back. And then people say, oh, but you're going to do it a little bit over time. No, it's not going to happen that way. That's called a UBI, or a universal basic income. No, 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 no. It's not happening. The reality is, Trump is about jobs, jobs, jobs. We want people to get back to work, and we want people to do good things with that. Now, do I have a problem with people getting back the last 2 or 3 years of taxes? I don't have a problem with that. I don't know that it's going to happen. I don't know if it's not going to happen. I'm not going to sit around and worry about it, because I'm not sitting here and talking about fair, fair, fair. I'm sitting here and thinking about people. You know what my big thing, and so I'm going to end it with this one here, because I know a lot of people are talking about fairness kind of things. My thing is about the kids. My thing is about the elections. My thing is about, man, I want this world to be better. I want the world man, I want God. I want good things to happen for you. I'm praying for so many people out there. I'm just not thinking about myself and thinking about, how can it be fair for me? And if you're thinking about fairness for yourself, man, come on, get off that rocker. Okay. But the reality is, there can be some good things out there, and there you might get some of your years back in taxes. But I think that there can be some good things out there. But that's what I would say about the taxes. So I hope that helps you out with that. Thanks so much.